Hello peoples! Today we'll do some troubleshooting to find the exact problem which is causing our bad timing belt alignment. And we flushed the coolant system because, well, that 9-year-old coolant is pretty nasty. Now let's dig right in. Well, before we can do anything, our old lady here needed some fresh juice.
Some lovely 98. We want only the best for our little darling.
Alright, now, this was our first ever timing belt replacement, so we do not know all there is to know and might make some weird decisions along the way. However, to try and fix our alignment problem, we did some research online and asked some people with plenty of experience to guide us in the right direction. We came to the conclusion that there are two ways to address this problem. The first one being to try and see if our installation was faulty, which of course might be the case, and the second one being to switch out the new parts with the old ones one by one to see if any of the new parts are faulty. Now, to see if the problem is caused by a faulty installation on our side, we were informed on the following 4 rookie mistakes. Sometimes the tensioner pulley gets installed just a little bit off, and that might cause this problem. Reinstall it and see if the problem persists.
Alright, let's start her up and see if that timing belt stays in the center now. Well, let's tighten some other pulleys.
Sometimes it can happen that the water pump is not installed correctly, and that also may cause a bad alignment. Torque it to spec and bolt it down in the cross pattern.
Still no luck.
Make sure when installing the belt it is nice and centered on all pulleys and especially on the tensioner pulley.
There's not much else we could do.
Might be a long shot at this point, but try placing the belt all the way to the other side of where it is aligning itself and see if that fixes the problem. And that also did not. We do like to know though that every time we had to adjust the timing belt, we also had to reset the timing belt tensioner. This is a somewhat time-consuming task as you have to compress the little piston back into the tensioner every time. You do this by placing the tensioner in some kind of clamp and then slowly compress it. How much you should compress it depends on what clamp you are using, but make sure you take your time with this as you don't want the tension to start leaking at the seal on the top. As some kind of reference, we turned it to where it feels hand tight and then waited about a minute and turned it some more until eventually the locking pin can be put in place. Also make sure that before you start to compress it too much that the pinholes are lining up. Well, at this point it seems our installation is not at fault, and so we started to switch out the new parts with the old ones to see if any of those are faulty.
Alright, the first culprit is the idler pulley. We're gonna put back the old one. If the belt then centers nicely, well then we know that's the problem. Alright, let's try again with just the old idler pulley. This is getting annoying. Yeah, la 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 la, annoying. Alright, here we go.
Well, that is not perfect, but in our view good enough. The belt is moving left to right a little bit, but it is almost centered. At this point we made the conclusion that the new idler pulley is bad and that the old one may cause a little left to right movement. So we'll have to order a new one, install it and see if the problem is then fixed.
Alright, so we finally got the timing belt in the right position. So now we can start flushing the engine.
Put the fucking multi-riem on, man. That's it in here.
Oh yeah. So in order to flush the coolant system,
for the best performance of the flush, you need to drain the coolant and then put some fresh water in there, just water. We use distilled water.
And then, well, add some kind of coolant flush. We got Win's cooling system flush. You add that bottle to the coolant system, then leave it running for about 10 minutes.
Just follow the instructions on the bottle.
Yeah, that's about it. So yeah, let's add that into our coolant system. Cap back on, start the engine and leave it running for about 10 minutes at operating temperature. Alright. So very gently release the pressure out of the coolant system, and then it's a matter of draining the water, and then we'll see what came out of there. Alright, and then you need to flush the flush. So we're gonna pour in 5 liters of that distilled water to get rid of all the flush. Right, and then drain it again. It's looking pretty clear. So yeah, that's the 9-year-old coolant. That was with the flush. That was the flush, and that's after a flush. Let's add some fresh coolant. It's Pinky and the brain.
Brain.
Pink, the color of fashion.
Ik heb 2 pinken. If you have a vacuum system, you can vacuum this and then you just suck the coolant out of that, so you have no air in the system. But we don't have that. So we just do it the old-fashioned way. Yeah.
To top it off, start the engine, leave it running for a bit. The thermostat has to open up. This hose should get warm when the thermostat is open, so yeah, wait a bit until that opens. Then you'll see the coolant drop, and then we'll fill it up again. So we almost finished the timing belt. We need to change out that bad idle pulley. And the coolant system is flushed. No leaks so far. Everything seems to be dry, which is also good news. Yeah, steering pump, we'll find out the next time. Alternator is working, so that's good.
Dash lights are all off.
Yep.
At the moment.
Alright, and that's that. The next time we need to change out the idler pulley for a second new one. We need to check if the steering pump works correctly, and we need to flush the engine itself. Well, at least that was our planning when shooting this video, and when we had high hopes a second new idler pulley would fix our timing belt alignment issue. So stay tuned to find out and see us struggle in the upcoming video. But for now, that's all we could do today, so thanks for watching and see you the next time.